Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Imagine yourself in a classroom teaching a multimedia lesson. Imagine your students sleeping, watching mobiles. Imagine yourself in an online classroom giving a multimedia lesson. Imagine your students sad and frustrated, unable to understand anything at all. You have all been through these situations as a teacher, as a student. So, what should be done? The multimedia lesson should be designed on how the human mind works. This is the basis of cognitive theory of multimedia learning, which was presented by Richard Mayer. He was an educational psychologist and he performed a lot of experiments to help design multimedia instructions in such a way that fosters learning that is based on how the human mind works. He provided this theory and it was heavily based on cognitive load theory, dual code theory, and constructivism. So let's see what this is about. Starting with multimedia. What is multimedia? As the name suggests, it is using multiple mediums like words and the pictures together to foster learning. It can have videos, animations, audio, written text, spoken text, and graphics. And multimedia instruction is using all these mediums to foster learning in the mind of your student. And multimedia learning is basically the process by which your student uses all these mediums to make mental models, to make and consolidate learning. So we'll begin with how do we learn? This is our multimedia presentation consisting of word and the pictures. And this is the mind of your student consisting of sensory memory, working memory, and long-term memory. Sensory memory perceives the new information, working memory processes the new information, and then it is stored in the long-term memory for long-term usage and for retrieval later onwards. So spoken words are perceived by the ear and the written words are perceived by the eye. These are our sensory organs, and pictures are perceived by the eye. They form sound base and the image base in the working memory, and they form the mental models, verbal model and the visual model to make new meaning, to make a new integrated consolidated model, which is further integrated with the prior knowledge to make and it's scaffolded in this and it is put in the scaffold and then it is stored for the long-term usage. So this is the process of learning. Now we'll come to assumptions of the cognitive theory of multimedia learning. It has three assumptions. The limited capacity of the working memory. There are two independent channels, visual channel and the verbal channel. And there's an active processing of the information in the mind. So we'll study each of them one by one. Starting with the limited capacity. The working memory is the main place where all the processing takes place. However, it is extremely limited. It has an extremely limited capacity of like 7 chunks plus minus 2, and it just retains the information for 15 to 30 seconds. As compared to this, the sensory memory and the long-term memory have like infinite capacity. A lot of time we have our multimedia instructions in such a way that a lot of information overwhelms the working memory and a lot of learning is forgotten. So what we should do is we should design our multimedia instruction in such a way that the working memory is not overwhelmed. We should chunk our information. We should appropriately divide our multimedia lessons into chunks to promote learning and not overwhelm the working memory. So here comes to rescue the auditory and the visual channel. What happens is that there are two independent channels in the mind, the visual and the auditory channel. We should utilize both of these channels to consolidate learning. because each of them have their own capacity. So we should use both of these channels to their maximum capacity and not overwhelm either of these channels. So let's see what this is about. The spoken words are perceived by the ears, and the important words are selected to form the sound base, to form the verbal model, which is consolidated with the prior knowledge. But this is our auditory channel. It is working independently. However, it integrates with the visual channel. So the visual channel is formed by the written words and the pictures, visuals, and they are collected to form the image base, which forms the visual model. And with this visual model is integrated with the verbal model and the prior knowledge to form the new mental representations. So this is our visual channel. We should utilize both of these channels to consolidate learning, and we should not overuse any one of these channels. So this comes to our third one, assumption, active processing. The mind of your student is not an empty vessel in which you can just pour the information and he absorbs the information. No, there is an active process of selecting, organizing, and integrating with the prior knowledge to make sense. All of these are the active cognitive processes. As a teacher, our job is to facilitate these processes of selecting, organizing, and integrating. So let's see how this takes place. The words are selected and the pictures are selected by paying attention, by the important words and the important pictures are selected to form these base, and then they are organized to form the models, and then they are fitted together, and they are integrated with the prior knowledge. They are the scaffold from the prior knowledge which integrates all of this information together to store it and to save it in the long-term memory for the long-term usage. So this is how the active processing takes place. Coming to this learning, actually what Mayer did, I think he did a lot of experiments using the different combination of channels, visual channel, auditory channel, and the both together. What he found was that as far as the retention of information is concerned, all of these channels work equally well. And that is, you can use either of these, like just the visual channel for learning, but as far as retention is concerned, it's fine. All the channels perform equally well. But when the transfer was concerned, that is the consolidation of the knowledge and using it for problem solving, critical thinking, for the higher order learning, the using only one channel didn't work well. However, when we use the dual channels, it promoted learning. It promoted the higher order learning. This is the transfer. So this was a cognitive theory of multimedia learning was about, and it explains the process of learning and the three assumptions of dual channel, limited capacity, and active processing. Thank you.